Hey, happy Saturday. Did anyone else see the planets in the sky last night? We had a beautiful, clear sky, so we were able to see five of them. And it was basically the highlight of my Friday night, which either speaks to my love of planets or my boring life. I'll let you decide which one you think it is. I'm putting together an episode on heaven dreams, so if you have any of those to contribute, please let me know. This would be a dream where you actually go to heaven or that has heavenly imagery or loved ones who've passed away, something like that. So this week, I did not have any heaven dreams myself. I actually had a lot of demonic dreams, and that's why I'm making this video. So if this isn't your thing, you can stop watching now. But this is actually a really common category of dream that I get from people. So I had 3 of these type of dreams. The first one early in the week was set in the past. They were all set in the past, actually, in a place we actually lived, but the house itself was not a house we've ever lived in. It was actually, if I thought about it, like my dream house. So it was this Mediterranean style house with this really lush landscaping and this huge black wrought iron gate. It was gorgeous. But inside, like living on the property, there was this creepy stalker guy that was actually a demon. And he was there to torment me. So he would always do this stuff to torment me. And the police were there investigating. But I knew they wouldn't find him. I knew I would never find him. I knew I would never be able to get rid of him. And I had this sense in the dream that he was laughing because he knew we were stuck with him. And so the irony in this dream is having this big, beautiful dream house with a gate to keep things out. But there's something on the inside that actually just makes life miserable there. So we all understand everything can look great on the outside, but happiness, contentment, peace is actually an inside job. So I think there's a contrast in this dream between the outside or outside appearance versus the inside and being stuck with something on the inside that you can't get rid of, that's tormenting you. We can all relate to that. So the second dream was also set in the past, and this was a house we actually did live at. So this was defining a season of warfare that I went through while we lived at this house. And it was basically a day after day sequence dream where there was a demon screaming in my face every day. So that was very unpleasant and unsettling. And I would have to battle and cast down this demon. But then the next day, it's like it would just be there again and again. So it was kind of defining the warfare and the exhaustion of that season. And then the third dream, I had this last night, and this was such a long dream. It was a series of dreams, but I'm not going to share all the details. I'll just share the part that has to do with the theme of dreams I've been having this week. So this part of the dream was set in a childhood home where I lived. There were many, but this is just one of them where I have a lot of prominent memories. And I was walking around this area, and it was like it had all been burned by fire. So there were apartment buildings and houses just charred and destroyed, and even the ground was charred. And so it felt kind of eerie, and I was walking around alone, surveying the damage. And I was on the phone with my husband, and I told him, you should just stay on the phone with me just in case, because even though I was alone, it definitely didn't feel safe. So I walk into this house that's kind of under construction. And as I'm walking through, I'm telling my husband about it. And I see someone sleeping in the bed. So I turn around and I book it out of there. And I'm running down the street barefoot. I'm wearing a football jersey, a blue football jersey, which is a spiritual color. And this guy chasing me, he's like a 6'7", huge, angry, bad guy. And he represents a territorial demon. And he was sleeping, so he was dormant, but he was mad that I was there surveying the damage in his territory. So he catches me and he's just so mad and questioning me what I'm doing there. And I manage to get away and keep running. And I run down the street further into this gymnasium that has a bunch of people in it. And there's this door right in the middle of the gymnasium, just this freestanding door with the frame around it. And I run behind the door and I ask someone standing nearby, does he see me? And they said no. So the door, if, in the Bible, Jesus is the door, Jesus is the gate. So this represents Jesus as my hiding place, unattached to any structure, just Jesus himself, wherever I need it, whenever I need it, is the door. He is my hiding place from the enemy. So that was a special part of that part of the dream. In the next part, we live near this guy, and I'm wearing this black hoodie. And anytime I see this guy, I pull the hood of the hoodie over my hair and over my face, hoping he won't recognize me. And again, this is a picture of hiddenness. And so what I think God is showing me through these dreams is there are territorial spirits. There are familial spirits, both of which I know I have encountered greatly in my life. And I don't claim to be an expert about this, but these are just some of the things I understand through the years of growing in my knowledge and understanding of these things. And I think God is showing me in seasons past where I had been in warfare with territorial and familial spirits, or like the Bible talks about principalities and powers. There are demons over regions. We've probably all experienced where you go to a place or a region and you feel something different there. That could be you're sensing spiritually what is over that region, or even someone's house. I mean, you can go into a place and feel if it's filled with peace and joy and love and light, or if there's darkness there, if there's anger and strife and like a heaviness. Even completely non-spiritually perceptive people usually can pick up on those kind of things. So it's just good to ask the question and evaluate what's going on and what you're sensing. So in these dreams, I think God is showing me territorial spirits, familial spirits. There are also familiar spirits, which are probably similar or the same to familial spirits. And I'm there assessing the ruins. And so there's a sleeping demon is like a dormant demon, but it's over that area. So I think God is inviting me into a new season of engaging in warfare with some of these things. And that has been a big part of my life story, is understanding all the generational garbage that has happened that was part of my life and the people in the generations before me, and just desiring something different for my own children. So I have viewed myself as the generation that is going to stop the flow of dysfunction, addiction, abuse, abandonment, all the things. And I can't do that perfectly, but it's been my goal to make war and say, no, I'm not letting those things flow through to my own children. And that takes a lot of effort. So warfare has been a lot of that process for me. But I think there's a next level being revealed here of assessing the damage. The book of Isaiah talks about rebuilding ancient ruins and restoring places long devastated. And that can be literal and that can be spiritually as well. So just the fact that I'm assessing the damage and the enemy is not happy that I'm there, and God is showing me He has provided a cloak of hiddenness, and whatever He's asking me to do, in whatever ways He's asking me to go into this these territories and assess the damage and maybe be part of the cleansing and rebuilding process, that he is my hiding place. It's not like there will be no conflict. Of course there will be conflict, but I have a hiding place in Christ that gives me the courage and the ability to do what I'm being called to do. So, more of that will probably be revealed in time. I'll definitely be praying into some of these dreams, but I want to reframe these type of dreams. They can be bad dreams if you're just tormented and exhausted and can't figure out a point. I mean, there are definitely demonic attacks while you're sleeping. That's one thing. But when you encounter spiritual territories or principalities or powers or demons, or a revelation of this kind, it's not a bad thing necessarily. It can be what you're being called to war against. It can be the place you're called to rebuild something new for the next generation. So the warfare is part of it, but the rebuilding and the restoration and the redemption is actually what to focus on next. So thanks for listening. I know that will connect with some of you who dream this way. And for the rest of you who don't dream this way, you've probably stopped listening by now. So for those of you who made it to the end, thanks for listening.